Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, March 4th. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning to everyone. It's great to see so many in attendance here as we honor some great employees here at the county for their years of service and the wonderful efforts that they put forward here for the organization and for the citizens of Wright County. At this time, we are going to go with our recognition of services awards. At this time, if board members want to come forward and greet the recipients.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and everyone in attendance here today, we're going to start with our 5-year service awards. The first person is Gretchen Gottsacker from the Sheriff's Department. Matthew Mosselman from the Sheriff's Department. Jason Bannock, Information Technology. Joseph Durr, Sheriff's Office. Jacob Swanson, Information Technology. Sarah Das, Health and Human Services. Marcy Deering, Sheriff's Office. Elizabeth Euchre, Health and Human Services. Angela Gahan, Health and Human Services. All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, our 10-year recipients, Sean Tisnick from the Sheriff's Office. Marcus Anderson, Sheriff's Office. Ariel Johnson, Health and Human Services. Daniel Warren, Sheriff's Office. Austin Henry, Sheriff's Office. James Kasari, Highway Department. Blake Schaff, Health and Human Services. Kaylee Henson, Court Services. And Mr. Chair, members of the board, our 15-year recipients, we have Julie Benboom from Health and Human Services. And Vincent Horn from the Sheriff's Department. And Mr. Chair, members of the board, our 20-year recipients, Brian Severson, Highway Department. David Carlson, Sheriff's Office. Teresa Burkhart, Health and Human Services. Lance Stein, Sheriff's Office. Anthony Boverhouse, Sheriff's Office. Melissa Holthouse, Court Services. Lori Thingvold, Assessor's Office. Mr. Chair, members of the board, our 25-year recipients, County Attorney Brian Lutz. Curtis Mortensen, Highway Department. Lori Powelk, Human Resources. Sherry Muehlbauer, Health and Human Services. Siri got kicked in there. Robert Dubois, Sheriff's Office. And then Betsy Larson from the County Attorney's Office. Then, Mr. Chair, members of the board, our 30-year recipients, we start with Jake Hermanson from the Sheriff's Department. Then our second 30-year recipient is Jeffrey Fox from the Sheriff's Office. Mr. Chair, members of the board, that is everyone for the Q1 recipients, and I want to congratulate everyone on their anniversary dates. And to the Sheriff's Office, it looks like we do a lot of hiring in Q1. So I think you were 75% of the list here, but congratulations to everyone as well.
All right. First of all, I want to also say thank you for all the wonderful years of dedication and service that you've given to this organization and to the citizens of Wright County. We can't thank you enough. We'll take a short little minute here for individuals if that want to depart for the next portion of the meeting. I'll be reconvening at about 10 o'clock for other awards.
I didn't even see it, Lindsay. I didn't even see her, Lindsay. She's so little. I'm like, oh, Lindsay's here. You have other awards next.
At 10 o'clock. We at 10 o'clock.
Oh, at 10.
At 10, yep. So I'm just giving a minute here.
My internet's not working.
There's people congregating in the back. How do we? Can they close it? I don't.
Mark.
Oh, okay. So at this time, if anybody still wants to gather and conversate, 11:04 is open. If we can go there for the meantime, while we just conduct this short portion of the meeting here that needs to be moved forward. Thank you. All right. At this time, we'll convene back to the county board meeting. We have our first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes
I'd like to approve the minutes for the county board meeting and the committee of the whole, 2/18/2025.
All right. We have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Holland and second by Commissioner Shane to approve the minutes from February 18th.
Mr. Chair,
Discussion.
I would like to add, it says,
Sorry, just first of all, if
The
you're looking to discussion, so modifying the minutes.
yeah, that's under minutes.
Yes, so
approval.
we have a motion and a second to approve them as presented. Would the motion makers be interested in modifications to the minutes?
Not at this time.
No.
All right. Then if we,
Mr. Chair, we always have discussion after we've moved it forward.
that is, the discussion is on the motion at hand, and the discussion of the motion at hand would be to approve the minutes as presented. So, but if we want to move forward to having a discussion on the motion at hand, we certainly can have a discussion on the motion at hand. All right, with no discussion, we will move forward with the vote. Motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to approve the February 18th minutes as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. All right. Approval of the minutes from 2/18 from the Committee of the Whole.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the minutes from February 18th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. Next would be approval of the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added or removed from today's agenda? Administrator Kreiser.
Mr. Chair, nothing from administration.
All right, nothing from admin.
Motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Holland to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shane. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, agenda is approved unanimous. Next, today's consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove anything from today's consent agenda for further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would like to pull E, the planning and zoning, for further discussion, please.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich to approve, is it to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item
Yes,
E?
correct.
All right. With the removal of item E, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Moyna. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I'm assuming that was 5-0, right, on the approving of the consent agenda with the removal of E.
Right.
Okay, I just, everybody was really quiet there. So- All right, now item E, we have the acceptance of the recommendation of the Planning Commission for the request to rezone property in Cokato Township. Is Barry available here, or is he not? Otherwise, Commissioner Dietrich,
Right.
your questions?
Oh, certainly. We had a discussion earlier this morning, just clarifying. Typically, what comes before the board is a zoning adjustment. We don't do line adjustments. That's for the planning, and that's the Board of Adjustments. So what we're here to approve is the planning, or the zoning piece, but it's tied in with the lot adjustment. And I guess I disagree that that should be brought forward with that, or I would, I guess, just have more clarification on that lot line adjustment with this zoning coming forward, if you could explain, or,
Certainly, it's a procedural thing, so typically adjustments like this are heard by the Board of Adjustment because of the stats of the lots. State statute in our ordinance defines lots of record, which are lots that were created prior to an ordinance going into effect that would now not allow that lot to be created. This lot is not that situation. This was a duly approved lot by the Planning Commission, I believe, in the 80s or the 90s. And so the only way to effectuate an adjustment of that is to rezone that portion that they want to add to the residentially zoned lot, and then request an amendment to the subdivision approval from the 80s. And so that's what they did here. That way we avoid having split zone properties. When you have split zone properties, there are things allowed in the different districts that aren't allowed in the others. And so you get into, from a zoning standpoint, a really difficult situation. What uses do we allow? Where do we allow them? And now if a property has different zoning districts, it just makes it really hard to work through the rules that we do have in place. So in this case, it's a small adjustment to accommodate a structure that's there. The property owner owned both pieces, and he ended up building the lot over the line. He has the right to apply to rezone the property and to amend the subdivision, which he did. Planning Commission in this case said, okay, we're okay with it. We'll rezone this. In this case, it's 0.048 acres. And then the county board has the authority on that rezoning. So by statute, only you can amend that map. That's why it's before you for the rezoning. Now, in situations like this where it makes no sense to do the subdivision, which is 0.048 acres, without the rezoning, we also run the subdivision request simultaneously and then put a condition that if you do not approve this, then that subdivision is null and void. So that's what is before you. If you approve the rezoning here, the subdivision then is approved and they can swap this 0.048 acres.
So, Mr. Chair, and just commenting on that, is that I think the comment that the nay vote was on the planning was that, that we're creating, should the buildings be moved? Are we creating a precedent where they've built over the lot line and then we're going to just allow them to move the line instead of requiring them to, move their property back to the setbacks on their property? That's my concern.
So, Commissioner Dietrich, to your point, I guess I could understand the point if the individual didn't own both parcels, but in this case, the individual owned both parcels. There was a rectifying method of going to fix it by rezoning it, and it's continuous, it meets the land use plan. Going to the circumstances of asking somebody to demo a building when there is a route to be able to make it cohesive within our within our rules, to me, that would be an unfair hardship that we'd be asking for somebody because there was a way to rectify it through rezoning it that makes it compliant.
No, I understand that. We're also requiring them to move another shed, on the property. So I'm just saying I would approve the zoning with both of the properties, or both of the buildings being moved in order to be in compliance.
I was, Chairman Vetch, I was involved in the in-depth discussion with the Planning and Zoning Board. He truly didn't realize when he built that he was building over a line, and it's contiguous to his plan of his pool, and it was an honest mistake, and he felt bad about it. And it's just such a small sliver that it didn't make any sense to have him tear that whole building down, and so therefore we approved it.
I don't see that there's any precedence that would be set with this. If anything, the precedence would say that when applicable, we try to find other routes other than moving things, enforcing individuals to move things unduly. If there is ways to make them compliant outside of moving them, we want to go that route first. And this is a way that gets their buildings within compliance with planning and zoning and does it without the landowner having to incur undue expenses, so.
Mr. Chair, I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the rezoning.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve consent agenda item E1. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is moving up to today's timed agenda items. We have Charles Webb, the interim county surveyor. First time at the podium.
Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and board members. I'm actually here today to request to proclaim the National Surveyors Week. It's March 16th through the 22nd of 2025. And it's an annual campaign to raise awareness of the valuable work surveyors do every day. And as part of that, we're planning to do a write-up on the news area of the Wright net to just explain a little bit more what we do, so.
Well, I appreciate that, Charles. We appreciate all the work that yourself and individuals in your department do. Keep replacing those monuments, keep surveying those plats for us. We appreciate it. At this time, can I get a motion to make March 16th through the 22nd as National Surveyors Week here in Wright County?
So moved.
All right, we have a unanimous
We're all
motion by
excited.
Commissioner
Everyone.
Dietrich, second by Commissioner Moyna. Any discussion?
Congratulations.
Yeah, do you want to read that, Derek? Read the resolution?
I didn't even have it printed out in front of me. I have to open up here, so. Do you want me to read the resolution?
No, it's okay. I was just,
You're just. All right, it's a resolution vote. Commissioner Moyna.
I,
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Yes.
for all the hard work.
Next, we're moving on to our 920. It's our overview and update on Pelican Lake Management Plan. We have Peter, and I'm going to probably, is it
It's as simple as it sounds.
Okay, it's
Borash.
Borash. Okay.
Yep. As simple as it
It seems like when they're simple like that, I'll overthink it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, commissioners, for letting me come today and just give an update to everyone on where we're at with Pelican Lake. It's been a very big project in the past several decades, but I don't know how much you as current commissioners know about the history and what's actually happened. So just wanted to give an update. So I guess just to start off, I mean, I think if you don't know what Pelican Lake is in the area, it's a really large, shallow lake, which is not super common in the state in general. We consider a shallow lake less than 15 feet deep, and this one is a 3,800 acre lake that's less than that. So these are great migratory bird stopovers and nesting grounds, but they tend to be the ones that have been most impacted in the past by farming, draining. So this particular lake has had a huge significance in all of migrating in Minnesota since, I mean, we've been recording it since the 40s, but obviously centuries. Why it became a point of management is that starting in about the 70s especially, the lake really started to rise. Some of that was ditching, some of that was drainage, and there was no real outlet for it. And just between the 70s and the early 2000s, it went up over 6 feet, which, again, when you're talking a lake, starts off as only 15 feet deep. That takes up a lot more land base around it. So going back again to the 70s or even before, there was talk of how can we manage that both from the water quality standpoint and the land use standpoint. And so currently, along with trying to do water level management, there's been some strategic acquisitions around it to protect the shoreline, to protect runoff, which currently between state-owned land and federal-owned land add up to about 2,000 acres of land, and about between half and 2/3 of the shoreline is protected currently. Yeah. Just to, again, highlight why this started, you'll see, okay, there it is. In the graphs up here, it shows the historic trend of water levels. This bottom one is zoomed in to the last basically 10 years, 15 years. But you'll see, again, starting in the 70s, it skyrocketed. And so that was, again, the main point of how do we get this back to a shallow lake that produces a lot of vegetation, a lot of food for waterfowl. They're very productive lakes. And when they're too deep, they don't freeze out. So bullheads take over, rough fish take over, and we just don't have that production. So I'm not going to go through all of the details here because I know I've provided some timelines to you as well, but just highlighting some of the work that's been done in the last 45 years, 50 years, as far as bringing the public in and keeping the public as part of the conversation with this drawdown, which is eventually what it came to, is a drawdown of the lake back to historic levels. Started in 1970. I put the wrong date on here for the 1995 first public land acquisition. The first land acquisition was a little bit earlier than that, but I wanted to note the 95 one because I feel like it's probably one of the only ones in the state that this land acquisition was actually spearheaded by Wright County. The county actually brought it to DNR, Fish and Wildlife Service, and said, this land is something that we should protect with this project. And they actually, at that time, went to the auction with the intent of purchasing it for protection. And again, that's extremely unique in the state. And so that was a big part. But going through, the real drawdown and construction part of it actually started in 2012, 2013, working on a way to find how can we create an outlet on this lake keep it at historic levels, and work with surrounding landowners and the city. It ended up being a lot with the city of St. Michael, because this now drains from Pelican Lake through the city of St. Michael to the Crow River. And so all of that, long story short, all of that came into place in 2014. We started drawing the lake down in 2014 by gravity, and then installed pumps that pumped until 2021. Again, the goal was to get it as low as we could for a short period of time and then bring it back to the historic level and have a gravity structure that requires no power, no pumping to maintain it at that level. And so that's, I thought this would be a good time to come and talk about it too, because currently, as of this fall, we were right at that outlet management level. So if you drive by the lake, as of yesterday, it was a half a foot below that again. But with spring runoff, we'll get to basically, this is the long-term managed goal for the lake level. It's going to bounce some because it's a gravity structure. Every time we get a rain, it's gonna fill up and it's gonna take a little while to lower down. But again, right now would be a good time to drive by and say, all right, this is where that water level will be long-term. Just for reference, I guess you don't have, I don't know if you have the slides in front of you. I'm gonna have you click through a couple different maps, kind of looking at before the project, especially on this, like this 2010, and you can go one more, 2015, especially look on the northwest, or the northeast side of the lake and the southwest side of the lake is where it's really gonna show when we click to the next picture how much we've sucked this lake down back to historic. And it's just, so this is 2021, this was after, or the beginning of several years of drought, so it actually went a little lower than that. Like I say, we stopped pumping in 2021, but our low level actually came in 2023. Even with no pumping, it evaporated and got drier. Right. Again, kind of messy, but just an outline of, this is, every point on there was a survey point that showed the lake depths in 2022 when we did our survey, close to the low point, where at that point the highest depth was about 8.5 feet. Right now we're just over 10 feet at the deepest spot. Again, just kind of a side-by-side comparison, pre-drawdown, post-drawdown. I guess that's, like I say, that's where I wanted to bring you to. Right now we're basically just in a monitoring phase. I know you've been provided the lake management plan too, so there are triggers that would cause us to reevaluate doing another drawdown. I don't expect that anytime in the near future. We as wildlife also have to get a permit for changing any water levels, so that's why this didn't change the historic water levels. All we did was bring it back to that, hold it below that for management purposes for a couple of years. Now we are required to allow it to be back at that, or by rule, we are required to leave it at that long-term level. If we were to draw down again, we would have to apply for a permit, go through permitting process to try to lower it any farther, because that would be changing. Just like anybody else, we can't change the water level of a lake. We can manage it, but that's for a short term.
Mr. Chair, if I could say something. First off, Peter, thank you for being here. I was on the city council, so I know what a big project this has been. And yes, it's been a long time coming. I think people are starting to understand more what was taking place and what our initiatives were. So, and I wanted to say thank you to your group, because anytime I have one of my constituents calls, I usually refer them to you being the expert, and you've been very attentive and made that work out very well. So it's really good to see kind of the fruits of the labor right now, and people are really starting to understand, because it was very contentious there for a while.
Yeah, Chairman Vetch. Yeah, Peter, I raise my kids close there and go by it all the time. So it is, and I was on the school board at the time, so you had some of our teachers on your committee. It was basically the fishermen against the duck hunters. It was ugly. and my kids fished on that lake, and so they were sad when it went away. But no, that's a very good presentation, and Yeah, I know you guys worked hard on that.
And to that point, I guess, if people ask about that, it is never, this is not a lake we ever intend to be fish-free. There's actually, you probably, again, if you drove by this winter, the spearing out there was excellent this year. The northern population is really high. The crappie population and sunfish populations are still really high. They're just gonna fluctuate a lot more as we get occasional freeze-outs, which we did not last winter, but the winter before. So.
I appreciate you bringing this information and sharing it here. Peter, very good, and I think we're on to a good path here for the long term with Pelican Lake.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for the time. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
All right, we're running just a couple minutes ahead here, which is great. Now we will put on our Health and Human Services hat, and Jamie will make her way to the podium. The first item on there would be to approve the consent agenda. At this time, if there's board members that would like to remove any items from the consent agenda, otherwise I'll stand for a motion to approve the Health and Human Services.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the Health and Human Services agenda is approved unanimous. Now we're on to your timed agenda items, Jamie.
Thank you. Yes, just a couple today. I would like to invite, along with the surveyors, we also have a week that we'd like to recognize coming up, or this week. I'd like to invite Michelle Miller and Jill Pooler to join me, our two social service managers, as we recognize Social Worker Month. Oh, month, not week. There we go.
Yeah, we get a whole month.
Good morning, Commissioners. As Jamie stated, March is Social Work Month. And instead of reading the full proclamation to you, we wanted to just highlight a few statements that really resonated with us. So the first is, whereas this year's Social Work Month theme is Social Work plus Action, and it embodies the fact that social workers go through years of education and training so they have the skill and expertise to transform their care of others into action that brings positive results. And this statement strongly connects and really echoes our social services vision that we created a few years ago. Our social services department vision is Wright County Social Services will be innovative and progressive, setting the gold star standard in service delivery in Minnesota. And if any of you know Michelle and I well, we're slightly competitive. So we really want to be the county that other counties look to and emulate. So that is our goal, is to constantly be striving to be better. Each day we strive not only to provide amazing services to our clients and our community, but also to look how to improve each day. We challenge our staff not to be content with the status quo, but to always be looking for ways to better ourselves, our processes, and our agency. And this, of course, takes active action by our social workers, all of our staff, not just our social workers, as well as our supervisors, our management, our administration, and of course, you as our board.
So yes, Jill and I are competitive. I'm just going to make one comment. We both have heard not only from DHS, which is now DCYF for me, but also other counties who have called and asked us, what are you guys doing in Wright County? We're hearing good things. So that is our vision, to be the gold star standard in Minnesota. Jill also mentioned the services that social workers provide, and I think some people are like, what is that service? So another section of the proclamation says social workers help protect millions of children from abuse and neglect, provide services and support which help strengthen families that are under stress. And if you just wordsmith that a little bit, it really speaks to what social workers do across our division. And that is that we protect children and adults from abuse and neglect. We provide services and support which help strengthen families, adults, and youth that are under stress. And we do so by coming alongside them in their stress and carrying out our Health and Human Services mission, which is to strengthen, support, and serve our community. We're very proud of what our 113 social workers do daily, which is to strengthen, support, and serve Wright County. So this month, and we do this every social work month, we plan a couple of fun events. So if you want to put March 12th and 18th on your calendar at 2, we have food. So feed them and they will come. You can join us again March 12th and 18th at 2 p.m. in our second floor lunchroom. We'd love to have you come and we'll feed you. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
And I'd like to have you guys stay up here before we do the resolution. And I think Michelle mentioned the positive outcomes, and I did want to share with you. that we just got our results for our children in out-of-home placements numbers for January, and it's the lowest ever, 69. 69 kids are in out-of-home placement. In the end of January in 2018, it was 165. So marked difference. And again, I can only, speak to the work that's being done in social services. It's really amazing. So
Can I just add, and our other stats that go along with that show that kids are safe. It's not just that we're putting fewer kids in care and they're not safe, they're also safe. Yeah. So,
and with that, we would ask that the board consider a resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution HHS 2503.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Shane to proclaim March 2025 as Social Work Month here in Wright County. Discussion. I think that's amazing, 69 out-of-home placements. And I'm guessing the number of calls that we get screened is relatively flat. So that just goes to show that we are doing our due diligence, but the issues are not there to substantiate,
right.
so.
The numbers from last year to this year are about 2,300 reports that we receive annually, so.
That's phenomenal, that's
And I would
great.
say some of the change too is just the response that we have. The response is we're trying to be more preventative versus the reaction, and we're, kind of just realizing it. And Michelle has done a great job in the children's area doing things like Navigating Hope, lots of different programs. So, really speaks to the work that you can put in to get different results, even without other things changing.
And that is at a huge cost savings to do that, and it's less harmful and less impactful to the children. So it's great to see that we're taking a more proactive approach and trying to stem it on the front side and preventing them from having to enter into this out-of-home placement. So
I believe our out-of-home placement budget came in under budget by 1.5 million last year in 2024.
That's great. Thank you, guys.
wonderful. Well, with that, we have a motion and a second. It's a resolution vote. Commissioner Shane.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous. March 2025 is Social Worker Month here in Wright County.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, director's comments.
That was her.
There was, okay. That's right, I thought, I was reading on here that there was another item, but
I was just going to walk out on the good feelings about the social workers.
Drop the mic and leave.
Yeah, that's right. I do have a letter. You should have it in front of you. It's just a heads up that I plan on signing a letter in support of Functional Industries, requesting a grant to buy a new van to help with their senior population and community events. So that's
great.
That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just hope, yes, definitely sign that. I just hope that it's able to get the van.
yes.
That seems to be a problem with a lot of the,
Right?
equipment and
We can only
vehicles.
do what we can do, so.
Yep, so thank you.
Should we formally get a motion here to approve the letter of support?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shane for a letter of support for Functional Industries. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
All right, now moving forward here, we're making good time. We have Chad making his way to the podium here to approve and adopt a resolution requesting variance from the State Park Road account.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. This was previously approved back in May of '24. We've made some changes, worked with MnDOT, reduced the number of variances, so they require an updated resolution. So it's just basically a housekeeping exercise. So, but we need a resolution. So any questions, I can answer them before.
I'll make a motion for that resolution.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shane. Any discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote, I vote aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Easy one.
Chad.
Chad.
And now the famous Matt Detchen is making his way to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. A couple easier items today, hopefully. The first item is to approve the joint ditch appointments by Commissioner District. In the past, we've appointed them by Commissioner name, and with turnover, we have to come back and get those all approved. And with anything involving joint ditches, it involves a whole joint ditch authority, so you have to get commissioners from other districts, and timing is Kirby's finding out with one of his meetings. Can be fun. So my recommendation is to approve the joint ditch appointments by commissioner districts for 3 separate scenarios.
All right. Stand for that motion.
So moved.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
Second.
second by Commissioner Moyna. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous.
Awesome. The second item is to amend the findings in order for 2 redetermination of benefits, judicial ditch 1 and county ditch number 7. Whenever we do a redetermination, we have to appoint 3 viewers. And unfortunately, 2 of the viewers that we appointed for these systems left the company. So we're appointing 2 additional and then a replacement just in case that happens again.
All right. Any questions, or is I'll entertain a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the amending the findings and redetermination of benefits and appointing viewers for County Ditch 7 and Joint Ditch 1.
Mr. Chair, these are actually resolutions, and I think we should take them in order because you are acting as to your capacity as Drainage Authority on Judicial Ditch 1, and then also on County Ditch 7.
Okay, so do them
should
separately.
do
Okay,
them
so the first
separately,
one was a motion for Joint Ditch 1.
Yep.
All right. And that was a motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane. All right.
Is that for joint ditch 1 or judicial 1?
Judicial Ditch 1.
All right.
This is in, it's right next to the training facility for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, Marysville?
Chatham?
Chatham.
All right. Is there any other discussion? All right. Resolution vote. Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes unanimous. Next would be the amending the findings and the redetermination of benefits and appointing viewers for County Ditch 7.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote. Commissioner Dietrich?
Aye.
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 All right. Resolution passes unanimous. All right.
And then final item is to accept the bid from Houston Engineering to complete a reestablishment of records on County Ditch number 23. The past board meeting brought up the repair request submitted by the township, and after review, we found that a reestablishment of records is needed. So Houston Engineering provided us a quote for $18,800 to complete those services.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Shane,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Holland to approve the, or to hire Houston Engineering to complete a reestablishment of records on County Ditch 23. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Matt. And now we're moving on to items for consideration. First items for consideration would be the Personnel Committee from February 20th. The recommendations were included in there. Number of them were just some housekeeping items within the personnel policy as how it pertains to reclassifications and photo IDs and ID cards for door entry and hybrid work procedures and guidelines. And then there was also a records manager job description that update. With that, is there any questions or discussion? Otherwise, I'll stand for a motion to approve the recommendations from the February 20th Personnel Committee.
I'll make that motion to approve the recommendations from the Personnel Committee.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the Personnel Committee recommendations are approved unanimously. All right, now moving on to, sorry, I lost my other page here. All right, we would have the approve and adopt the County Resolution 2513 to join the Central Mississippi River Partnership nonprofit.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. So just some brief background on this. This group's been around for almost a decade, formally established as a JPA. In that capacity, they've done a lot of work leading up to the federal appropriations process to eventually go to the federal government and try to seek funding for this. So currently, they're in the middle of a planning and environmental linkages study, and then the next step is to go through the NEPA process and then seek federal funding. The work largely has been done by the JPA now, but as we transition, we've been doing joint powers agreements between Sherburne and Wright counties to accomplish the environmental study process that we have. And then we're going to shift this portion of the group to a nonprofit organization. The reason for doing that is that when we go lobby at a federal level, we want to invite our private sector partners to join us in that effort by becoming affiliate members, and then we can use their logos and their voices as well at the Capitol when we go lobby. It's been an effort that's been successfully utilized by organizations like the I-94 Coalition in their lobbying efforts at the federal level. So all this move is to pass a resolution that was drafted by our legal team that's representing that CMRP organization to join the nonprofit. I sent out the bylaws to all of you as well. We tried to reflect in those bylaws terms and conditions that are almost identical to what we have currently under the JPA. So pretty straightforward today, just trying to change the organization to better situate ourselves for the future once we get these environmental processes done and set ourselves up for future lobbying efforts. With that, to be open for questions, otherwise looking for passage of the resolution.
And as board members, on the third Tuesday in April, you will get an invite here in the next, probably within the next week or so, from the Monticello Chamber staff here, as well as myself and members of the Central Mississippi Regional Partnership are working on putting together a large presentation that'll involve the Highway Department from Sherburne, Wright County, as well as having people from MnDOT and as well as from Bolton and Mink to present on where we're at, where we've been, and where we're going on a variety of different facets of it, parts of it from the Pell study, as well as some of them with some of the work that MnDOT is doing on the existing Highway 25. So very comprehensive and really wants to articulate all the work that has been put into this and that we are working very, very hard, even though it doesn't seem like we're going very fast, but this process is very onerous and very costly. So but we've never been so close yet so far away.
Mr. Chair, Clay, I just had a question. I think I tried emailing you earlier. It does discuss in the as it moves to the nonprofit dues, and I didn't see any amount on there, and I was wondering if we had, there's amount and if we budgeted for it as we move forward.
So as far as the amount at this point hasn't been officially set for the ongoing at the nonprofit because we haven't had like an official nonprofit meeting on it. There is a lot of discussion that will come with that because the cost factors that will be on the nonprofit will be less than what it was before because a lot of the expenses will be paid for out of the LGU, which is the local government unit, JPA, which is between Sherburne and Wright County. So most of the studies and work that'll be done will be paid out of that. The cost factors now out of the nonprofit are a lot less. So right now the dues are budgeted within Department 100. And they would, at this point, I would say that they would stay linear, if not be reduced, but we'll have more discussions on that as in July when we set our budget as a nonprofit.
So what was the ballpark that you put in, 100?
So the annual fees that we pay right this time is $25,000 to Wright County, $25,000 for Sherburne County, and then there's subsequent amounts that the cities and townships that participate play.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I'll go ahead and make that motion to be moving forward on this.
All right.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the participation and resolution on 2513 for the Central Mississippi River Partnership, nonprofit participation.
Exciting news. Thanks for all the
Yes.
hard work, you guys. That's well needed.
And it is a resolution vote. Commissioner Moyna.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next would be the last item on our agenda here today would be to set the workshop agenda, which was included in the packet for next week on March 11th. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I do just have one change if I could. I'd like
sure.
to remove the 10 o'clock item for the security audit report out. I just received word that there's a staff conflict. I'd like to push that out to the April workshop.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
I would like to add an item if that's possible. It's just, usually you have asked that question. I'd like to, the state budget numbers are coming out on Thursday, and I'd like that as an agenda item so that we can talk about what that number is and then possible implications if we need to start looking at things even this year for what the impact of the state budget could have on the county.
Okay. State forecast for the February forecast that'll be coming out here. All right. With that, we motion.
I got two things. One, I would like to add just an update on the French Lake Highway Shop. They have their meeting tonight, so hopefully they have some sort of update that I can bring to that. And also that I'll miss the first portion of this meeting. Carver County scheduled a joint ditch meeting at 9 a.m. and they'll be hearing about how that's not going to be able to be done in the future. So if we're working around their schedule, they can work around ours a little bit too. So
Fair enough. All right. With that, do we have a motion to approve the workshop agenda with the added items?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Shane. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. The workshop agenda is approved unanimous. With that, we are coming to the end of today's agenda. With that, we will adjourn here at
Mr.
9.
Chair, we do have the 10 o'clock items.
We have 10 o'clock, yes.
You want to
so-
take a 9-minute recess, or if
Yeah,
everyone's here,
I don't
we
know
can
that
start early.
everybody's here, so maybe we should just take a 9-minute recess. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot that is actually part of the board meeting. Yeah. So with that, we'll just take a short little 6-minute break here, and we'll reconvene in 6 minutes.
All right.
All right, if I can ask everyone to either take a little bit of silence and or take a seat here. We're going to commence back with the board meeting here. So annually, am I live there? Okay, so annually we have the opportunity to honor an individual employee as well as a group of employees for achievements and work that goes above and beyond the call of duty. And our first award is the Individual Achievement Award. We had 4 nominations. We had one from the Attorney's Office with Barbara Shrimley. We had another one from Health and Human Services with Leanne Bethke. We had 2 nominations from the Sheriff's Office with Stacy Doyle and Jacob Sherrill. And we had another nomination from the Recorder's Office with Mary Cogley. And I thank you all for your great work and the individuals who nominated these people for their great work. But at this time, I am going to call Mr. Matt Detchen up to the podium and Elizabeth up to the podium as well. I think you have a wonderful statement to read for him.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm just going to read the letter I wrote nominating Matt. I am honored to nominate Matt Detchen for the Wright County Employee of the Year Award. While Matt may be best known as the Ditch Guy, his contributions and impact extend far beyond that, showcasing a level of dedication, leadership, and collaboration that truly demonstrates he is on the right track. Matt's role encompasses a vast array of responsibilities, from overseeing county ditch administration and maintenance to ensuring compliance with buffer and noxious weed laws, as well as managing natural resource initiatives. He also plays a critical role in grant administration, securing more than $2 million in external grant funding for projects in 2024 alone. Over the past several years, he successfully secured over $2.5 million of the county's ARP allocation for water quality improvement projects, and he holds a key role in managing an additional $2 million in ARP water quality grants for other organizations. Excuse me. His work in this realm has had a significant financial impact on the county and its partners. Beyond his impressive technical and managerial skills, Matt's collaborative nature and county-first approach set him apart. He consistently prioritizes the needs of the county and its residents, working tirelessly with a variety of stakeholders, including county staff, cities, townships, residents, other jurisdictions, consultants, and contractors. He is a true team player who looks out for his peers, always offering support and willingly lending a hand when needed. Matt also demonstrates outstanding leadership, providing clear direction to his team while fostering a positive and supportive work environment. He is not only a respected leader, but also a trusted friend and an all-around good person. His ability to balance technical expertise with strong interpersonal relationships has made him an invaluable asset to Wright County. I've had the privilege of working with Matt, and his professionalism, work ethic, and unwavering commitment to excellence makes him truly deserving of this recognition. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, man, yeah. Make me blush after that. Thank you. I'm very honored. Yeah, it was very cool. In reading that, when I got the email that was covered, it was awesome, especially coming from someone that I'm very close with from EK, the nomination, who's not only an amazing employee, but an even better person and someone I look up to. So it was really cool to see that you nominated me and really appreciate that. Again, great honor. But nothing we do in my line of work happens with just one person doing the work. There's a lot of other staff and people involved. Too many people here to thank, that helps make these projects happen. I look up at Greg, and I remember when I started 8 years ago, Greg could have, not given me the time of day, but would sit down with me all the time and teach me about ditches and everything else. And so I just really appreciate all that and all the help everyone has been since I started here. It's been an honor to work for Wright County. So there's a lot of amazing employees at Wright County, and I think you guys know that, acknowledge it, that do a lot of amazing work too. So just make sure that we let them know every day too that what the great work they're doing as well. that's something very important. So other than that, I don't know. I'm all flustered after her reading that. So.
Well, Matt, I'm going to take a few moments to say some great things about you because, 8 years ago, I remember sitting in that room with that interview for that position. And, this is a young, fairly recent college grad, eager to learn and ambitious. And he checked all the boxes. At the time, he knew nothing about drainage law, which we knew that was the out there. There wasn't very many people that knew anything about drainage law, but you had the determination to say, well, I'll learn a lot about it. And boy, did you learn a lot about it. Because in that 8 years, you've now become one of what I would say a field expert in the state of Minnesota in drainage law and in drainage management. And during that time, you have fixed many issues that for decades were insurmountable and that had caused so much damage to so many citizens, and you have systematically been able to fix many of these issues at a little or no impact or small impact to the citizens in the county, and I can't thank you enough for all that hard work, Matt. You are top shelf. Thank you.
That was the first and only time you see me in a suit, too, so.
And I just want to say, I avoided becoming a county commissioner because of ditches. So when I became a county commissioner, the very first phone call I got was about a ditch that was going to be going under 94. And Matt assured me that he's going toe-to-toe with MnDOT to make sure that they fix that ditch so that the benefited landowners wouldn't have to pay. And he did it in true Matt fashion. And my constituents were so happy. And you're always smiling, even though it's a tough job. And we know that there's been incidences that truly are not fun for you. But yeah, you are just a top-notch employee. Thank you so much. You deserve that.
Board members, can we come down for a photo?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now at this time, we have our group achievement. We have many divisions and departments within this county that do amazing things. And at this time of year, we take the opportunity to award a department or a division within the county that goes above and beyond the call of duty. We had a number of nominations. The nominations that were submitted but not chosen was Health and Human Services Financial Assistance Team. I know that they've had a very challenging ever since COVID, and they've worked very, very hard, and we thank all of them and their dedication that they have. And for them, we'll give them a round of applause. We also have our Projects Administration Team. This group here is the catch-all of everything. They're another one group that has, sorry, I don't want to miss it, the Geographic Information System. I was going to call it GIS because that's always I know it as, is the acronym. So we're actually the Projects Administration Graphic Information Team. Larkin and her team has done a phenomenal job on working with the different departments and putting out there so much deciphered information through their mappings and working with them to bring out more digestible information internally and externally, and we can't thank them enough, so give them all a round of applause. Always hardworking as all of those individuals in the recorder's office. They've always seen many ups and downs, more ups in work in the later years than downs. And for that, we thank all of them in their dedication and looking at always improving processes. And for that, let's give them all a round of applause. We also have our Health and Human Services Youth Services team, as we kind of heard about some of the accolades that was spoken up here earlier in the meeting, and they've done a wonderful job to enhance and improve the youth's lives in Wright County, and for that, let's give them all a round of applause. And now for our honored group, I'm going to ask that Mr. McMillan step forward here. I think he has some words to read.
Yes, thank you, Board, and also thank all those that were nominated. They do an unbelievable job for the county, and I'm fortunate to work with a number of those different groups that were put up for nomination, and very proud that our team was selected. It's difficult when you nominate a big group to not call out certain things. But in our nomination, we had 10 points that I thought kind of called out this past year that really started probably about 3 years ago and since COVID. I'm a firm believer that if you're evolving, you're going to get better. I don't use the word change, or try not to use the word change, because I think it's scary. And also, I believe that if you're standing still, you're moving backwards. And we've always prided ourselves, because of our team, to always move forward. And I'll talk a little bit about their characteristics when I'm done, but just a little bit about the nomination and the why. As you probably know, you don't see me up here a lot with nominations, because I really believe in the team approach, and I really believe it needs to rise to a standard that is worthy of winning, first of all, being a coach. So I think this group this year is clearly worthy of winning. Over the past year, our department agents and support team have gone above and beyond to execute major changes in our department to ensure ongoing implementation of best practices. Our goal is always to be the best and meet expectations of our comprehensive plan. Extensive modifications were made to everyday procedures while not missing a beat, providing public safety to the communities of Wright County. Court services staff did all this without staff increases, paid consultants. Instead, created our own implementation teams, which strategically reorganized the entire department to serve the courts, community, criminal justice system, and the county to be better. We listed 10 things that were really significant during this period of time, and if you open up the hood and come over and ask a question about it, it was a lot. I mean, it's a lot, and you can't do a lot without everybody buying in and everybody working together, because every little part affects somebody else. And not only that, I do have to say, my partners in the criminal justice system that are out here, thank you, because they were a part of many of these changes. And I always have to remember, everything that we do as a department affects everybody in the criminal justice system, and we have to be conscious of that when we're making change. So I want to thank them. I'm going to hit on the 10 things. The first one was completion of best practice supervision implementation model using a dosage formula. Really, for the layperson in the audience, what that means is, and for the board, is that means we're doing a better job of tracking the hours and time people put into what their actual court conditions are, and that's developed through a case planning system that we use. When you make a move like this, and it took approximately 3 years to come to this last year, where really the true implementation started, and it was executed in October. The whole objective is to reduce recidivism, do a better job with victims, and make our communities safer. And that is done by making sure the clients are doing the right things when they're on probation, not just being on probation. And it's a little bit of a heavy lift and a change, instead of just checking a box and visiting people. The group set up a new framework for efficiency in that delivery of best practices, aligning our support team to reinforce and support the agents, assist in the execution of the vision, and try to be as efficient as possible so the agent can spend time where it needs to be spent. We also worked on streamlined sentencing from the bench in collaboration with our criminal justice partners. Multiple meetings with the court, county attorney's office, public defenders, law enforcement, everybody that's affected to move towards a sentencing from the bench. As you can imagine, not doing a PSI, not going to court, how that would instantly streamline, save everybody money and time, which is a big important thing when we move forward. And that was a collaborative effort between everybody, but pushed forward by our team. We redesigned our truancy program after 2 years of implementation. We went from 2 agents down to 1 agent. So the first 2 years when we switched, we took a real hard look at that statistically, anecdotally, and with our community, our partners, our schools. And because of what we found in using some systems and better communication with the schools, we were reduced it to 1 agent and keep 2 case aides. So though that agent then was moved into other parts of our department, and it helped with that efficiency. We realigned our coaching and development team, which really executes our coaching model, and that's lifting up the agents and them able to spend more time on individual units and individual employees to make them better at that beginning part that I talked about, that big paradigm shift that we made. And you need support when you're doing that and ongoing, and they're able to do that, and they're doing that today. We streamlined our drug testing systems also to increase accountability, but also to streamline it from a financial standpoint, but also client services and helping the agents out and making their jobs easier. We reorganized drug court to make it more of a department and not just 1 or 2 people, and that's been very successful now. So instead of having 2 key people involved with drug court, now we have 5 or 6 in our department that share that responsibility and spread it out the work. We redesigned our agent of the day, and that's too in the minutia for you to understand, so I'm not going to skip that one. We implemented another program called Check and Connect, that Right Choice, help push forward, where kids coming out of Right Choice go back, and we're staying on top of that, and the schools have bought in. We trained a number of people, including the schools and our staff. And then last but not least, and I want some smiles, please, on this one. We also redesigned for the 24-25 school year, Safe Schools. We have implemented speakers at each one of the meetings, topics like juvenile probation, what it really looks like, what it means, co-responder, child protection, parent support outreach, and many other presentations that meet the needs of the school. We also shrunk the 2 that I promised down to 4 meetings, so there you go. So I do listen, and I like to be combative, but I do listen when it's all going on. And again, it's an evolution. But to do this, you have to have a team. And being a coach for 40 years, team is so important and over the individuals. So here's a description, a little bit of what makes us the best. Not only here, I think, but also statewide. Here's our staff. They're never satisfied. They're different and difficult and stubborn and challenging. They're visionary. They push, they ask why, they demand to know the why. They're passionate, they go the extra mile, they try things, and they want to be included in the whole department. Each and every one of them, they want to know what's going on everywhere. And those characteristics, in my opinion, make us the best. And to have that, you have to have a team that has all those pieces to make them the best. So I'm very proud to stand up here. They did the work, they do it every day. I just get to me and my management team get to stand up and kind of coach and move them around and make sure things are getting done. And they get it done every single day for you, for the courts, and ultimately the clients and the community. So thank you very much for honoring our agents and our support team. And I'm very proud to accept that. And if you want them to all to come up, I think that would be awesome.
I think it's a great idea at this time.
Thank you.
Can we give a round of applause and call our court services agents and support team up front here? Thank you.
Ed, go ahead. Get up there. Just like right there, or right in front?
We can probably
Okay.
stay here and get it to it.
Let's switch to you guys. Let's maybe switch to
Somebody left to be kneeling down up there.
There we go. All right.
challenge people by standing on my tippy toes.
There you go, I know
Stand
it's
on your
a-
tippy toes, Jeannie. I'm gonna come this side a little bit. Can you see over?
Yeah, I'll take a bit of gap here.
One's right in the front.
Yeah. There we go.
You behind people that can see? Yeah.
You get in there, all right. Squish. Need that panoramic lens.
Congratulations, you guys.
Yeah. You're good for the day.
All right, and before we adjourn, Administrator Kreiser?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would just like to thank the Employee Recognition Committee members who took the time to review all the nominations and to present this list and slate to the county board, and for everyone to acknowledge all the great work that our employees do here in the county. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you. I believe we have some designated 30-minute period here to meet and greet and recognize the individuals awarded here. But at this time, we will adjourn to that refreshments here at 10:22.